Hi, I'm Amber and I'm a Reiki master and a Shamanic practitioner. And this is day 20 in 21 days to create a daily practice in your life. So if you've been following this series as we reach the end, as we come to a place of completion, there will have been many different practices that you shall have experienced that shall have allowed you to connect with an energy that is greater, with the divine, with the God and the goddess in you, with the great mystery, with the great unseen, with yourself, with your truth, and with your heart. And the practices have taken you to the land, to the elements, into movement, into stillness, into darkness, into forgiveness, into acceptance, into intention, into the power of your thoughts. So a really varied way of creating a daily practice and also of coming to know yourself, and in so doing coming to know your divinity, your truth, your essence, and that which connects you to the divine that is all around us. Today's practice then is about creating a representation of that which you have been connecting to. And you shall create this representation in the form of an image, so either something that you draw or paint, or something that you create with your hands. So you may well feel that this representation lies in that time when you went to the land and you connected with your tree. It may be that you felt the greatest connection to an element, earth, fire, air, or water. It may be that you felt that greatest connection when you were dancing. It may be that you felt that greatest connection when you were in stillness, when you were in darkness, when you were meditating with your heart, with your hands on your heart, feeling into the heart space. It may be you felt the greatest connection when you were actively daydreaming, or when you were sat in a space of gratitude. It will be specific for you, and it's worth just going back over the practices, the experiences of the last 2.5, nearly 3 weeks, and asking yourself, when did I feel that greatest connection? When did I feel the most alive, the most connected? When did I truly start to feel the divine flow through me? When did I feel the presence of an energy flow through me that felt overwhelming, beautiful, powerful, strong? Whatever it was for you. Because now is the time to bring back your connection to that and to allow that to flow through you and into an image. Should you feel that in the last 2.5 weeks you're unsure of what it was that you were connecting to, or did you even experience anything, did you even feel anything in any of the practices, then this practice for you shall be about creating a representation of that which you wish to connect to. What is it that you are searching for? What do you feel that that connection will look like? What form will it have? What texture? What color? How could you represent it? And so this practice will be about creating that you aspire to connect to. And this isn't about the most perfect image. It could just be a splash of color on a piece of paper. It's about what is it that you believe that that energy will feel like, look like. How will you experience it? How will you know it? What is it that you're searching for? For those of you that have had a practice for years and years, and you may have dipped in and out of these clips to reawaken something in you, it's to allow that divinity to flow through you, to allow it to flow through you uncensored, to create something that honors the work that you do, that honors what you connect to every day, that honors what flows through you, that honors the divine in you, which is ultimately what this practice is about honoring the sacred and the divine that flows through you. Just something to say about creativity. I will often set practices like this, rituals like this, in healings, and so often I hear, but I'm not very creative, I'm not very artistic, I can't draw very well. This isn't about being perfect. You're not going to be judged for this. This is for you. This is to allow that sacredness, that divinity, the God and the goddess to flow through you. Maybe at some point in our lives when we were at school we were told that something that we drew wasn't good enough, or when we sang we weren't good enough, or when we danced we weren't good enough. Maybe we were marked out of 10 or given gold stars or silver stars or blue stars or whatever it was when we were at a young and impressionable age, and now we feel that our creativity doesn't measure up in some way. We don't measure up in some way. Our creativity is an expression of our divinity. Man, since the beginning of time, has found a way to express himself through creativity, whether it be through song or dance or paintings on a wall. And that expression has been an expression of the divinity that runs through us. That expression has been an honoring of a connection with the elements, with the sacred. We feel it so intensely, we feel it so powerfully or beautifully that we wish to honor it in some way. We create a representation, we paint sacred art. We find a way to honor that is in us and all around us. And so, in a sense, we take it out from the realm of the unknown, the mysterious, the I'm not quite sure, into there it is. There is something that I can consistently acknowledge, connect to. There is a representation of a part of me, and so a part of the whole. So that, for me, is what creativity is about. It's not about perfection. In fact, perfection is something that will annihilate creativity. Our great mistakes are the most creative often. So just to remember that as you go into this practice, and to keep the whole practice incredibly sacred, just as you set an intention before you left your house to connect with the land and your tree, just as you go now to gather your items for creating this image or making it in some way, you're to be asked to be led to those items that you shall need for this depiction. And all the items that you gather, in the same way that we talked about on day 2, gathering your items for your sacred space, they're all sacred, they're all infused with some level of power and love and magnificence for you. And then when you go into the practice itself, is to again make that a sacred practice. So go to your sacred space, open the space as you usually do. You may wish to light some candles or have some incense. You may wish to go into a space of meditation or prayer beforehand. You may wish to actively daydream and connect with your tree. You may wish to do this practice out on the land by your tree. You may wish to connect in with the elements. Perhaps there's one element you feel most connected to. You may wish to go into a space of gratitude, forgiveness. You may wish to dance before you go into this practice. I leave that up to you. There's so much for you to choose from. And then to allow what needs to come through. The depiction of what it is that you have felt in maybe one of the practices or all of the practices. What is it that you feel when you go into prayer? What is it that you feel when you sit with your tree? What is it that you feel when you sit in stillness with your hand on your heart? What is it that you feel when you sit in darkness? And if you are yearning to have that connection and you believe that you're not experiencing anything, which I would query because we are always experiencing, the divine is all around us. It is us that puts obstacles in the way, judging, limiting. But if you truthfully feel that you haven't experienced anything, then what is it that you would wish to connect to? What is it that you're seeking, that you're yearning for? What would it look like? What would the form be like? What would the colours be like? And if you're a seasoned pro at having a daily practice, then this is about honouring what you connect to on a daily basis in as sacred and blessed a way as possible, as feels right for you at this time. And once you have created this image, and I would urge you to do it in one go rather than go away and come back and seek to perfect it. Just allow what needs to come through to come through. You may wish to come back to it after a couple of days. You may. However, if it is just honoured for that flow in that moment, it will have a spontaneity to it that may inspire you to perhaps judge less or seek perfection less in anything, including one's practice, which can often trip us up. So once you have created this depiction, however it may manifest, you're to place this in your home, preferably near your sacred space, so maybe above your sacred space if you've got a table that is your sacred space, But somewhere where you can see this every single day as an honouring of all that you connect to, as an honouring of all that you wish to connect to, as an honouring of all that inspires you, as an honouring of all that is within you, that divinity within you. So you can see it every day. Sometimes if we don't see it, we don't believe it. And yet the realms of this work, these practices, is very much about what we experience rather than what we can see, what we can tick a box for. So this practice is an assistance along the way to say, yes, there is a validation of what I experience. There is an honouring of what I experience. So I wish you so much joy, pure joy, with this practice as you gather the items that you shall need to create this image. However you wish to do that. You may wish to go to the land and take soil, or you may wish to go to an art shop, or who knows how you're going to gather these items, to gather the tools that you need to create this depiction of what it is that you've been connecting to, what you wish to connect to, or what you already feel flowing through you. And you may wish to create it in some way through maybe clay or wire or metal, something that you make. You may wish to give it a very solid, tangible form that you can touch. You may sew something, you may knit something. Who knows? I leave that completely open to you. It's just to ensure that it is then something that you can place in your sacred space and you can view every day. And to allow that creativity, that divinity to flow through you. So, until the next time, so it is. It is so.